The gaming industry is in an absolute insane state right now. We are seeing two very different sides of things happening all at the same time. In terms of the negative, you have nothing but massive lawsuits being placed against Valve, real identification being put into video games, and also every other platform as well. You've got AAA games flopping on a consistent basis, and these publishers and developers not knowing who their actual audience is and even lashing out at them. To make matters even worse, you have the entire AI crisis, where every piece of hardware is being exponentially expensive because every other company is trying to push into data centers and taking away literally all the consumer power from you on the home base side. And even with all of that happening in the gaming space on the negative side, you have huge success stories happening right now as well. If you're a AA developer or an indie dev, you are literally swimming in gold, as so many games like Slay the Spire 2 and many others are literally crossing 500,000 players on Steam. On top of that, you have games like Resident Evil 9 being properly optimized across so many other pieces of hardware, and Capcom focusing on the PC platform, which makes every other platform even more successful because of how good the game actually runs across the board. You have Valve pushing even harder into Linux and making Proton even better, and also the announcement of the Steam Machine, a proper way of actually playing your PC games on a form factor PC that could fit in your living room as well. So things are going to get incredibly interesting. And if you really want to talk about how things are going, you have to only look as far as what Microsoft said yesterday at their GDC talk. You know, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Microsoft is no longer in the console war. They're in what I call the platform war. They're looking to make Windows the exact platform that you boot into first and foremost, and that's where you play your games and where you log into, counting you as a monthly active user regardless of whatever storefront you in fact try to use at all. And I feel so many people are in fact unable to see that aspect happening, with Satya Nadella being on record saying that TikTok is one of the biggest things that is taking away from gaming. And we've also seen other reports as well that Gen Z is in fact not buying as many games as other generations have before. So what Microsoft is doing is exactly what other places are doing as well, especially companies like Valve. What they're trying to do is to push a platform, the place where you go first and foremost, and not leave Windows 11 or Windows at all to go to SteamOS and Linux. What they're trying to do is capture every single active user on their space, whether it's on console, whether it's on PC, or any other device they sell you or they sell to, where they can count you as an active user and try to monetize you in that way altogether. And I think this is what a lot of people are not understanding of what Microsoft's playbook actually is. It's incredibly similar to what Valve is in fact doing with their Steam Machine, with their Steam Deck, with Steam Link, and everything else that happened before. This is no longer the console war. This is now the platform war. And it looks like Project Helix is going to be the first salvo across the bow. Because according to YO64 tweeting this, Project Helix, the next-gen Xbox innovation at GDC, plays your Xbox console and PC games, powered by custom AMD SoC, AMD FSR Next, and deep texture compression. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the Xbox Helix, even though it was announced just a couple of days back, is now being talked about at GDC. And I think the funniest part about all of this is watching so many people literally not understand exactly what Microsoft is doing. They're not doing this to compete with PlayStation. They're not doing this to compete with Nintendo. They're doing this to create a platform and compete with the one company that they know everybody cannot face up against. And that is Valve. And the more that I show you about this keynote and what they talked about and how they're approaching things, it's going to make it even more apparent. We've seen how Linux has been growing exponentially in users for over the past couple of years, even crawling into the enterprise space as well. And that's where Microsoft is not happy about things going. They want to make everything onto the Windows platform. Even Sarah Bond said it herself as well. They wanted to make Windows the best place to play. Personally, I think it's going to take a lot of work, seeing as how right now SteamOS and CatchyOS and even Proton and Bazzite do a far better job of playing much older games than Windows does on its own. And personally, I feel like Xbox and Microsoft have a lot of catching up to do, especially to do anything with Valve. But it looks like they're probably taking the right steps in the first place, especially when you hear this. Tom Warren on Twitter posted this. Microsoft says you build the next-gen Xbox games by building them for PC. My colleagues at Starfire2258 and at Jay Peters are in line for the Xbox GDC keynote. But look at what they spotted. Next-gen game preservation and building for PC for next-gen consoles. With these screenshots showing this. Build for Xbox, simpler, unified path to reach more players with less effort. Build for Xbox on PC are unified GDK builds for millions of Windows gaming PCs, Windows gaming handhelds, and next-gen consoles. Build for Xbox Series X and S. Extensions of the GDK unlock access to millions of Gen 9 consoles and are compatible with next-gen gaming preservation. Go farther with cloud. Streaming every GDK game is compatible with and can be optimized for millions of smartphones, smart TVs, and more streaming devices. So I really want you to stop and think about things for a second. How many games in the past generation have you seen hit PC, hit PlayStation, hit any other console as well, but never hit Xbox at all? That seems to be mostly because of the GDK that was being used, and it turns out Microsoft may have figured out a way to fix that issue. So think about it from this perspective. If a PC port is already in development, there really is nothing else extra left to do for the developers than merely to publish it for PC and have access to it across not only the previous generation, but also every future generation moving forward and every other Windows-based device. This is not a console play. This is a platform play, allowing every single game to be available on that storefront in Windows through the Xbox PC app, and also be available for every single user who's on Windows in general, and even past generations as well. Basically easing the access of use for developers to put their games onto more storefronts and more platforms. And if you think about it from that perspective, that's exactly what Steam is doing right now. You put your game on PC, it just works on Steam. No issues, no fuss, no muss. You have full control. You can have everything even work across every Proton Linux layer as well. And Valve does all the work for you on top of that. So clearly, this is in fact exactly what Microsoft is taking a page from and what they're trying to do. But the thing is, there's even more to this. Tom Warren on Twitter also says this. Project Helix is designed to play your Xbox console and PC games, delivering high performance and providing the ultimate player-first experience. Project Helix is powered by a custom AMD-based SoC, and it's co-designed for next generation of DirectX via Jason Ronald. Now we're exactly talking about what's been happening before, and that previous set of photos and slides makes a lot more sense. Xbox Helix is going to play Xbox console games and also PC games, basically making it exactly what we have right now with the ROG Ally X. Now, granted, this here, it can't play the console versions of a lot of games unless they are Play Anywhere, and that is kind of a bummer for quite a few people. There are a lot of games that I have digitally on my old 360 catalogs that I really still wanted to play, especially on my PC. And the thing is, if Xbox can make back-compatible games work across every other device and every other facet that uses Windows, you could be seeing things happen on a grander scale. If you're someone like myself who's constantly on Steam and on Good Old Games and buying your games there, what true reason do I even have right now to even use the Xbox PC app, except as just a Game Pass launcher? Especially since the PC Game Pass version is far more affordable than everything else right now. So there's really no reason for me to even boot that app up in the first place and even spend money there. However, if you're looking at the fact that I could play all the console games and all the PC games and access all the storefronts on one simple device and not have to worry about Linux compatibility or any sort of like anti-cheat issues as well, then you could be seeing a proper reason for people to in fact purchase the Helix as well, who are trying to dip their toes into PC, but also people that want to have all of their library in one simple place to access everything, which is exactly why PC gaming is so great. But it looks like Microsoft is cooking up some other things as well, and this is where I'm going to be getting the most excited about the future prospect of what could be happening on this platform war. Tom Warren on Twitter also said this: Microsoft's Xbox mode is coming to every Windows 11 PC next month. It's no longer called the Xbox full screen experience, and it's just Xbox mode now. With the article saying this: Microsoft seems more determined than ever to combine Xbox and Windows, to the point that its next-gen Xbox, codenamed Project Helix, will play PC games too. Today we learned Helix will go in alpha in 2027, but the company isn't waiting for Helix before it points Windows gamers in the Xbox direction. Starting in April, it's bringing its full-screen Xbox mode to every kind of Windows 11 PC, including laptops, desktops, and tablets, and it's renamed it the Xbox mode. Technically, you've been able to try the Xbox full screen experience, the FSC, in preview since November 2025 if you were part of both the Windows Insider and Xbox Insider programs, but it needed work as well as a better name. When Microsoft originally shipped it on the Asus-designed Xbox Ally and Xbox Ally X handhelds, we were clear it didn't meaningfully turn a PC experience into an easy-to-use Xbox One. But if Microsoft is putting its full weight behind PC as a future of Xbox gaming, perhaps that will change. It certainly hasn't stopped updating the Xbox Ally. The pricier version now feels downright reliable, which is not something I generally accused Windows handhelds of before. And here we are. If you want to talk about excitement, this is actually what I'm excited about. Having a true full screen experience or an Xbox mode on PC is exactly what so many Windows users who game specifically on PC are looking for. A way to remove all of the bloat, the co-pilot, the garbage, everything else that takes up all our system resources that could be applied directly to the game. A direct game mode, which is exactly what people have been wanting for a very long time. However, this is Microsoft we're talking about, so I'm going to take things with a massive grain of salt, especially because we're looking at a company who has 33% of their Windows code being written by AI. Also, the same company who has multiple massive issues every time an update goes out, which then has to roll out another emergency update on top of that because of all the AI vibe coding even happening. I am excited about this, but also tepidly excited, simply because there's going to be, in my opinion, quite a few growing pains, and I really feel like Microsoft has to iron this out all the way up to the moment right before anyone even turns on their brand new Xbox next-gen hybrid console PC, whatever they're going to call it for the next gen, especially right before anybody updates their Windows 11 profile to have this Xbox experience as well. The article continues by saying this: here at the 2026 Game Developers Conference, Microsoft also says it's opening up advanced shader delivery to all developers in the Xbox Store, letting them speed up game load times by sending pre-compiled shaders when you download games there. I've heard it's a common technique on consoles, and Valve offers pre-compiled shaders with Steam. Yes, yes, and absolutely yes. One of the biggest problems with PC gaming right now is shader compilation stutter and traversal stutter that we've seen on a consistent basis, especially when I do PC ports. Shader comp stutter has always been a massive problem, especially on PC. But now, if companies like Xbox can provide other ways of using advanced delivery to get around that stutter in the first place, you may be looking at a reason why anybody on PC would buy their game on the Xbox PC App Store rather than buying it on Steam, even though Steam does offer the exact same thing to pre-compile shaders beforehand. The problem is, though, even with pre-compilation, you still get stutters every now and then, especially during traversals. It may not be the total fix of what we're seeing, and depending upon what Microsoft can actually do, it could provide another way of actually removing a lot of issues that PC gamers face, especially today with a lot of modern UE5 engine games, especially with Unreal Engine 5 games, if you want to ask my opinion. The actual bane of engines across the entire gaming PC space. One of the worst, honestly, if you ask me. But the thing is, if that works correctly like it's supposed to, and it removes shader compilation stutter, that could be a big reason for people on PC to start buying games on the Xbox PC app. And it looks like there may be another reason as well. And old games are back on the menu. According to Hazardor Gaming, Jason Ronald teases backwards compatible titles later this year. As part of our 25th anniversary later this year, the game preservation team will release some iconic games from the past that are going to be able to be played in entirely new ways. With the article from Insider Gaming saying this, speaking at GDC, Xbox confirmed its commitment to keeping 4 generations of games playable for years to come. During the 25th anniversary, the game preservation team will be rolling out new ways to play some of the most iconic games from our past. During the panel, eagle-eyed players spotted games like Fusion Frenzy, Panzer Dragoon, and more being teased. The team also spoke about breaking down the barriers between console and PC games for more seamless cross-device play. The Xbox experience is also becoming more consistent, which will help provide developers a more unified path to reach more players while helping reduce development costs. Now that is incredibly exciting if you ask me. If they really do go back and have access to all the previous backwards compatible titles on Xbox consoles that were available for the Series X and S and apply that exact same process to PC, you're going to see a huge reason for people to, even on PC, reopen the Xbox app instead of Steam. Now, if Microsoft says, hey, guess what? You don't have to buy a brand new box to play your old games. We're going to have them right here for you. Direct game preservation of 4 previous generations of consoles. That to me is actual value. That to me is exactly what Microsoft has to do to coerce people back to that platform, provide new ways of playing their older games across any single device. If I want to play 360 games on my PC, I want to do that. If I want to do it on my ROG Ally X, I want to do that. But the thing is, they want to combine that with Windows specifically. And I think that's how they're going to do it, and combining it with the Xbox game mode on PC. This is exactly what they're trying to do. They're not trying to compete with PlayStation. They're not trying to compete with Nintendo. They're competing with the one company that is eating their lunch on a consistent basis and winning by doing nothing, and that is Valve. They're trying to compete on that platform side where so many users not only trust Valve implicitly, such as myself, but also because Valve earned that trust and respect over decades of actual development and updates. And I think that is exactly what Microsoft is trying to do. Whether you move to PC, they still want to be able to make you trust them. Whether you stay on the console, they want to do that same thing as well by offering you more access to more games and even all of your old games as well. So this could be a great way of people like myself who are never going to buy a console but can still have access to their old 360 library and even older as well through backwards compatibility. Xtasis on Twitter said this, rumor, Nate the Hate claims the Xbox compatibility preservation team is working to bring and make your OG Xbox and 360 digital library playable on PC. With Peter adding Nate the Hate asking, is this true? As in, have you heard this? And Nate the Hate responding, I said that. Yes. And the thing is, this is exactly what I've wanted Xbox to do for an incredibly long period of time. Be actual true competition. Not to PlayStation, not to Nintendo, but be competition to Valve, to Steam, because no one is able to compete on their level. And no one has the ideas or platforms that they can in fact use and pull from to compete at that level. Hell, Gabe Newell used to even work for Microsoft, so clearly, if Microsoft can take pages or even chapters out of Valve's own playbook, treat the consumers and customers with the actual modicum of fucking respect, and even provide better ways of playing their games, more access to games, having better performing games because of advanced shader delivery, and complete access to all their previous 360 catalog and OG Xbox games that you can't access anymore unless you emulate them, that could be a huge reason for any PC gamer to not only take a look at the Xbox app on their taskbar, but hell, even open the goddamn thing up in the first place and even buy something without having it just to be a Game Pass app that they fire up every single now and then. This truly could be a next big step for Microsoft if they take the right steps correctly, if they put the customer and consumer first, if they focus on actual user interface and usability across the board, and they already have the pieces in play. They have a handheld already that rivals the Steam Deck. If they can make that run better, give it a proper full screen experience to play 360 games and OG Xbox games on there, now you're cooking with peanut oil, and have access to every other Steam library on top of that, now you're really looking good too, and GOG and Epic and everything else. If they can make the exact same thing happen with Windows and provide you a better experience in gaming overall and give you a proper Windows experience mode or an Xbox mode in general, that could definitely make people question themselves at least twice before moving away from Windows and going to SteamOS and even Linux, especially if it works with anti-cheat and old Xbox 360 games and back compat games as well. And that is true competition. That is actual value. If Microsoft can pull this off, then it would definitely be a different signal for people to stop and say, hey, should I buy this game on Steam, or maybe even do it on the Xbox app instead? And that could be a huge question for a lot of people, as right now Steam is in fact the default. And what I think Microsoft is trying to do is not to coerce people through exclusivity, but to in fact provide actual value to users on staying on the Xbox app, on staying on Windows, on being that MAU. And the reason why I bring that up is because when you talk about actual competition and making the gaming space better, that is actual competition. And if you want to talk about exclusivity, well, exclusives can't do that. But you know what? I want to hear what you guys have to say about this in the comments section down below. Does this make you excited for what's going to be happening to PC gaming? Or are you going to be looking forward to see what more comes out with Project Helix and what Microsoft is doing as well? And speaking about what you guys got to say, here's in fact the comment of the day from yesterday's video. With user RX3XL7ZN1U saying this: realize their ultimate target isn't Valve, it's you, and Valve is just in the way. There has never been a more truer statement that I've ever trued in my life, and that is absolutely true. Everybody wants a piece of Steam and Valve, and apparently they're all gunning for them. But as always, if you want to see more of this kind of content though, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, fanboy content, and even live streams every Saturday night, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 110K. If you want Discord access or emotes during live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. If you don't want to spend the buck, don't sweat it. Just come on down Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, live right here on the channel as I wear a banana suit and get insulted by about 800 people with TTS. Trust me, it's a hell of a show. Live Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, right here on the channel. With all that being said though, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!